Imagine a reality where tomorrow is never guaranteed, where every single night the sun descends into a perilous underworld, and there is a very real chance it might never rise again, leaving the world in permanent darkness. To the ancient Egyptians, the universe was not a permanent, stable fixture. It was a delicate, temporary bubble of existence, completely surrounded by an endless, hostile void of dark, crushing water and chaos. Keeping that chaos at bay required a strict adherence to Ma'at, a universal principle of truth, balance, and order. Every action, human or divine, was weighed against it to stave off this looming destruction. The Egyptian pantheon functioned as a precise, mechanical system. Each god operated as an interconnected gear in a colossal machine, assigned a specific, daily task to defend the borders of creation. Urgent. If even a single deity abandoned their post, if the moisture dried up or the wind stopped blowing, the scaffolding of reality would break and the universe would collapse back into the void. In the very beginning, there was no physical space to live. The earth god, Geb, and the sky goddess, Nut, were locked in a suffocating embrace. Sky pressed directly onto earth, leaving absolutely no room for light, plants, or humanity to exist. This papyrus illustration shows how that changed. Notice the central figure using raised arms to physically separate the arched body above from the prone body below. That is Shu, god of air, violently pushing the sky up to carve out a physical airspace. Empty space alone is a dead, dry vacuum. It required Shu's twin sister, Tefnut, the goddess of moisture, to fill that gap with humidity, dew, and rain, balancing the atmosphere so crops could grow. For thousands of years, whenever an Egyptian farmer felt a drop of rain or took a deep breath, it was tangible proof that Shu and Tefnut were actively holding up the crushing weight of the sky. With space created, it had to be lit. By day, Ra sails across the sky in his solar boat, providing heat and life. But this orbit is an active, dangerous job. At dusk, Nut swallows the sun, plunging Ra into the Duat, the treacherous underworld. Here, the life-giving journey becomes a 12-hour gauntlet of monsters and closed gates. This coffin scene captures the nightly climax. Look at the deity at the prow, driving a spear into the serpent Apophis, pure chaos trying to devour the sun. The spearsman is Set. Defeating absolute destruction requires this coordinated team effort, utilizing Set's violent energy. Sunlight is not a guaranteed natural right in this system. Every single morning that the sun rises in the east, it is the literal, hard-won trophy of a successful war fought in the dark. That same struggle against chaos played out in the human realm, driven by political betrayal. Set murders the perfect earthly king, dismembers Osiris into scattered pieces, threatening to plunge Egypt into disorder. Osiris's wife, Isis, and her sister Nephthys refuse to concede. Through relentless mourning and complex spells, they gather his scattered pieces. You can see their protective, magical embrace carved into the sides of the sarcophagus, wrapping the dead to breathe life back into the king. Osiris does not return to rule the living. He descends into the Duat to become the Lord of the Dead, proving to humanity that death is a doorway to another life, rather than an absolute end. Back on Earth, his living son Horus steps up to challenge Set. After years of brutal conflict, Horus reclaims the throne and restores physical order. This imposing, solid stone falcon, wearing the royal double crown, represents that victory, the indestructible right of the living king. This family drama forms the absolute blueprint for Egyptian kingship. It tasks the living pharaoh with being the mortal incarnation of Horus, the physical defender of Ma'at on Earth. The Egyptian pantheon operates as a unified theory of everything. It weaves early meteorology, astronomy, and political science into one functional, integrated system where every piece relies on the others. This meant the average person lived inside a waking myth. Working the dirt was quite literally touching the body of Geb. Feeling the breeze coming off the Nile was breathing the life force of Shu. and looking up at the living pharaoh meant seeing Horus in the flesh, the mortal anchor holding the entire religious, political, and social order steady. In this universe, existence is never a given. It is earned daily. Order is terrifyingly fragile, and everyone from a peasant planting grain to the sun god bleeding in the dark has a vital role in keeping the sky from falling.